Hey guys, today I want to talk about emotional health and maturity, what it actually is and how we actually get it. Now, part of the problem in our world right now is that our we're living in such dysfunction that our entertainment, everything, we've glorified dysfunction that it's hard to really define what is a healthy person emotionally. What is an emotionally mature person? And interestingly enough, when we study psychology in school, we study abnormal psychology, and there really are no courses on normal psychology. So it's kind of ironic. We're all kind of winging it there. Now, from a Catholic perspective, Thomas Aquinas was a great psychologist. He really defined what the emotions are, how they work, and really, really helpful. Now, Dr. Conrad Baars and Dr. Anna Tarua really took that work and applied it in the field of therapy, and it's super powerful and super helpful. Put a link underneath to the baarsinstitute.com. Good materials there in terms of really understanding emotional health. But basically, let's define it. Emotional health obviously is, mental health. Let's start there. Mental health is that we are well adjusted to reality. All right, if we're seeing things that aren't there, believing things that are not logical, let's say in paranoia, obviously we're not mentally healthy. All right, if we're suffering from severe depression, severe anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, that would be indications of emotional or mental illness that we need to really bring to therapy for treatment. All right. But emotional health and maturity is simply this, that what Aquinas taught was that our emotions want to and need to be guided by reason. All right, so in order for us to guide our emotions by reason, the first thing we need to do is be in touch with them. We need to feel our emotions. And sometimes we've gotten in the habit of just pushing them away, all right, that we fear them. All right, and Dr. Baars talks about that we can use fear to repress other emotions out of our conscious awareness. And now I can't really act on it in an effective way. I might become passive aggressive. I'm not aware that I'm expressing anger, but I am, but I can't do anything or take responsibility for it. But for the average person, when we understand, we start to feel our feelings, we need to, number one, allow ourselves to experience our feelings and then to define them. All right, so let's say I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling a sense of loss. I'm feeling humiliated. Now, anger, which is an emotion that a lot of people struggle with, is in response to those emotions, to hurt, to loss, to frustration, to humiliation. All right, we get angry. Now, think about it, it moves us to action. It's one of those emotions that move us to action. But by understanding what our emotions are, we need to then develop what is the goal? Like, what do I feel? Like, all right, if I feel hurt, let's say my best friend, canceled on me last minute and I'm feeling hurt. All right, now, obviously, other things might start to come into play, anger and other things. But if we just look at that and say, well, what am I feeling? And now what can I do about it? Maybe I call her up and I have a discussion with her. Maybe I just, find out, like, kind of decide to let it go because I know she really does have a lot of stress on her. So I don't want to put more stress. And I just decide to let it go, to forgive it. All right. But we need to understand what we're feeling first before we can actually do that effectively. Anger is one of those emotions too that, because it's to move us to action, we want that to be constructive action. So let's think of an example, all right? If there's something that's really, really wrong or something that makes us really angry, then we need to kind of define what those emotions are and then set a goal. What do I want? All right, maybe I want restitution on something. Maybe I want just acknowledgement from somebody. All right, maybe I want to make a change. Maybe we're angry over an issue, that abortion until the moment of birth. That anger moves us to take action, all right, to enact legislation, to bring around public awareness. Anger's a good thing. Anger can be very, very powerful if we're guiding it by reason. All right, so to stop and say, well, what do I want? What am I feeling first off? And then what are my possibilities? And this is sometimes really helpful to work out with a therapist or even sometimes a coach if it's a mild anger. What are my options here? What can I do so that I feel less angry because I feel like maybe there was an injustice that needs to be addressed? So defining what emotional health and maturity is helps us actually to mature, right? We need to, we look at somebody who's, 3 years old and throws a tantrum, right? They're acting like a baby. That's what babies do. They don't have the capacity of reason that we should have as adults. Doesn't mean every adult has that. We may need to kind of develop that capacity also. And especially if a child's frustrations and needs either weren't met or were met in a harsh way, they may never have developed that capacity to kind of use that emotion constructively. So if you're struggling, please, please, please reach out to a Catholic therapist, because our emotions shouldn't scare us. They're all good. All right, they're there for a purpose. Even the emotion of hatred. All right, we don't want to hate people. We want to hate sin. And if we feel that emotion, it's okay. But what do we do with it? All right, if I become aware that I hate what this person did so much that I start hating the person, then I got to kind of pull that back. And one of the things we might do is pray for that person. All right, because God still loves them and we want to see their conversion, perhaps, right? Well, hopefully we want to see their conversion. So even if they never convert, if we're praying for them, it takes away that anger that we're feeling. It takes away that hatred. So again, I would encourage you, if you are struggling, first off, understand what emotional health is, that it is attainable. Emotional maturity as well, all right? The younger you are, obviously, the more we need to mature, all right? But to understand that it's possible to overcome, and our emotions should really lead us to ultimately to happiness. Right? Even those unpleasant emotions. I know a lot of people refer to them as negative emotions. There are no negative emotions. They're just feelings. Just like our physical feelings, all right? Our physical feelings give us information, all right? That it's either cold in here, it's hot in here, I feel tired, I feel hungry, I feel thirsty. That gives me information that I guide by reason. If I feel thirsty, means I'm getting dehydrated, I need to get some water. Right? Same thing, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm feeling angry, what do I need to do to process that emotion and to reach the goal that I desire? All right? It's as simple as that. Don't be daunted by it. A therapist can really help you if you're struggling. And God wants you to be free and not to have any judgment on your emotions. All we're judged on really is our actions, and we have to be emotionally free in order to act accordingly, right? So sometimes, especially if you're in a healing process, or maybe you're very young and you're just, all right, we're going to mess up sometimes. We're not always going to handle them really well, but we can keep learning from that. So again, emotional health and maturity is the ability to guide our emotions by reason. So first we need to feel them, then we can heal them. And there's a great book by Dr. Baars, Feeling and Healing Your Emotions. I'm going to put a link to it below this video. Hope you find that helpful. Please share this with others. All right, like and share the video and ask them to subscribe so that people can get some help and know that there is help out there, and that most people, gotta tell you, are more normal than you think you are. All right, it's just a matter of learning how to manage those emotions. So hope you find that helpful. God bless you.